I think we can all agree athletes are capable of physical feats that the rest of us are quite simply not. And some athletes have been known to go the extra mile, but some have done things you would think were impossible, while some others are responsible for some odd trivia-type snippets. Whatever it is, these are going to blow your mind. Today, we are discussing some facts about athletes you literally won't believe. First up, it's Mark Hughes. Some of you might not know who this guy is, but in the 80s, he was huge, having played for Manchester United, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich throughout his career, as well as the Wales national team. Hughes was one of the most prominent footballers of his generation, and whilst at the peak of his powers, he did something you probably won't believe. He played 2 games on the same day. Okay, that's not that impressive, right? Well, the games were in 2 different countries. He had just signed for Bayern, who wanted to use him immediately, but those were the days when your country came first. Wales were playing in the old Czechoslovakia, and Uli Hoeneß, Bayern club president, wanted to use Hughes in their game against Borussia Mönchengladbach as well, so flew Hughes across the border just in time for the second half, which Bayern won. Crazy stuff. Kevin Garnett is stopping by next. You might not realize it, but Kevin grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household, and the former Celtics center didn't celebrate Christmas until he was 19 years old. By that point, the South Carolina native was already playing in the NBA and wanted to experience the joys of Christmas, so got involved in the celebrations. Merry Christmas, Kev. Braun us up next. Stick around. You're probably aware that James was a pretty decent football player back in the day, and was actually thinking about turning pro. So why didn't he? Well, he actually broke his non-shooting wrist during a game of basketball during the summer between his junior and senior years, which of course ruled him out of football for the season. A receiver who can't catch is pretty useless to the team, right? An odd Tom Brady fact now. Stay with us. Brady, arguably the NFL's greatest ever player, has a pretty odd habit of calling teammates babe. For one so manly and a participant in one of sport's most brutal games, it might sound odd to the layperson. However, it doesn't mean he is attracted to his teammates. It's simply a habit that developed as a joke early in his career, or as some have suggested, it could just be the California in him. Derek Jeter is stopping by now. Jeter is, of course, synonymous with the game of baseball, but America's pastime is not in the Jeter family. Apparently, Jeter Sr. was a huge fan of ice hockey, and Jeter Jr. is actually named after Derek Sanderson, who played for the New York Rangers, Boston Bruins, and Philadelphia Blazers, among others. And if you don't believe us, Jeter's full and proper name is Derek Sanderson Jeter. Quite incredible. Any of you guys named after anyone famous? Let us know in the comments. We have Sidney Crosby coming through next, so stay tuned. Crosby is, of course, the superstar captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins, but what you might not know about the Canadian is that thanks to the sheer size of his lower body, muscle-wise, all his pants have to be custom-made, which kind of makes sense. I mean, the guy has been a pro hockey player for almost 2 decades. Did you guys know this pretty graphic fact about Crosby? Eli Manning is up now. Manning is one of the most successful quarterbacks of all time, having won 2 Super Bowls plus 2 Super Bowl MVP titles. But to look at his full name written down on an official document, you would be forgiven for thinking that you were looking at the document of a lady, as Manning's full given name is Elisha. Peyton really lucked out there. Did you guys know this about Eli? Let us know below. We're talking about Tiger Woods now, so don't go anywhere. Tiger Woods is still to this day one of the biggest names in not just golf, but the entire world of sports, and literally has a huge crowd following him around in every tournament he plays. So, given this worldwide superstardom, it might surprise you to know that as a child, Tiger didn't have a lot of confidence and even suffered from a stutter. And his fix? Well, along with taking classes to try and get rid of it, he also used to talk to his dog every night. I mean, whatever works, right? Aaron Rodgers is up next, so stay with us. Fans of the Packers might not realize, but it was very close to all being so different. Why is that, we hear you cry? Well, the controversial Packers QB had a hard time attracting offers out of high school, turning down the only D1 scholarship offer he received from the University of Illinois. Instead, he was incredibly close to going to college to study law. Thankfully, for the Wisconsin natives, he didn't. And the rest, as they say, is history. Did you guys realize how close Rodgers was to packing it all in? Let us know below. We're talking about Pavel Datsyuk now, so stick around. When Datsyuk first came to Detroit back in 2001, he didn't speak a word of English, like many of his Eastern European peers. And early on, when he would attend team dinners, he had a certain technique for choosing what he was going to eat. He would simply close his eyes and randomly point to something on the menu. Ah, the days before Google Translate, right? What is your technique when you're on vacation in a place where you don't speak the language? Let us know below. Ronaldo is up next. Real Madrid's all-time leading goal scorer and current Manchester United striker, Cristiano Ronaldo, is actually named after someone you definitely would never expect. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro, to give him his full and proper name, actually wears his middle name on the back of his shirt. And you would be forgiven for not knowing that his middle name, Ronaldo, was actually taken from the president of the US when Ronaldo was born, none other than Ronald Reagan. Apparently, Apparently, his mom was a big fan, and he can thank his lucky stars that Donald Trump wasn't the incumbent at the time. Donaldo doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Did you guys realize this? Staying on the theme of football, we're talking about Alex Song. Song is most famous for playing in midfield for Arsenal and Barcelona during his career and is now coming to the end of his career in Djibouti. But the supremely talented player, who was unfortunately often injured during his career, comes from quite the family. You will be shocked to learn that the Cameroonian has a whopping 27 siblings, 17 sisters, and 10 brothers, which is absolutely unbelievable. Can you guys imagine Christmas Day in the Song household? Wow, how many siblings do you guys have? Usain Bolt is up next. Similar to Aaron Rodgers, it could have been pretty different for Bolt. His first sporting love was actually cricket, and he harbored dreams of turning out for the West Indies as a fast bowler. However, his cricket coach noticed his physique and talent for athletics and persuaded him to give it a crack. What is your number one sport? We have Jerry West stopping by now, so stay with us. Jerry is a bona fide NBA legend, having played his entire career with the Lakers, as well as coaching the team after his career ended. And you might not know, but the NBA logo is actually his own silhouette. I mean, it had to be modeled on someone, right? And who better than the man who was named NBA All-Star on no fewer than 14 occasions? Did you know this little snippet of NBA history? Diego Maradona is coming through now. Maradona is universally credited as one of, if not the greatest footballers who ever lived. But his off-field troubles were almost legendary. The Argentinian picked up a serious cocaine habit when playing for Napoli in the mid-80s, which followed him for the rest of his career. It is said that to avoid one drug test after being caught out during the 1994 World Cup, he used a fake manhood filled with clean urine to avoid detection. Wow. And finally, an American legend. Babe Ruth is revered by everyone throughout the MLB, and it might surprise you to know that he had a little trick up his sleeve to keep cool while playing. The Baseball Hall of Famer would keep a cabbage leaf under his cap to keep him cool, and would change it up after every 2 innings to keep it fresh. I mean, we get it. Playing throughout the summer in America can get pretty sweaty, so it was necessary to do anything to keep cool. What are your tips for keeping cool when playing sports? As always, thanks for stopping by today, and remember to join us next time for some more fun and games. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video with any sports fans that you might know of. And don't forget to subscribe so you guys don't miss out on more great content coming forward. Bye!